let me bring in Bobi, who I can see is on the line. Bobi,
please do.
welcome to our event here. Bobi, can you hear us okay?
Hello.
Bobi, hello. Welcome. Thank you very much. I'm Roger here.
Thank you very much for having me. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you well, sir. Can you bring us up to date with what's happening regarding your petition and where you are in the process at the moment?
Thank you very much.
We may have.
Yeah, first of all, apologies for my terrible reception.
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Sure. Thank you very much. We just concluded general elections in Uganda, which were marred by violence, irregularities, and a whole lot of criminality. Unfortunately, all the violence and the irregularities were overseen by the government, by the state. General 7 years personalized all institutions of state that they work not according to their constitutional mandate, but according to the of the incumbent. We lost a lot of Ugandan very young people to violence. This, in my opinion, and in the opinion of very many Ugandans, has been the most rigged election since independence. However, I must say we are confident. We have confidence in the people of Uganda who came out in millions to express their will and are asking us for guidance moving forward after the rigging of the election. We have guided our people not into violence, but into all legal and non-violent acts that are going to assert their will and to communicate their dissatisfaction with dictatorship.
Bobi, can I ask you what you intend to do now? What's the next part of the process for you?
Well, after petitioning the Supreme Court, but again, the panel of justices on the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice, showing outright bias, we opted out of the Supreme Court. And like we said, we are taking this matter to the court of public opinion, to the court of the people of Uganda. We intend to call upon the people of Uganda to engage in civil resistance, but should be strictly non-violent and law-abiding. Our constitution provides for Ugandans asserting their voices and resisting dictatorship using the law and using all activities that are within the law.
But we know that's difficult because you yourself have been restricted in your movements, I know, and there has been a lot of intimidation. Do you think people will be able to carry on doing that civil disobedience?
I and my team have made every effort to show Ugandans that they have the power within themselves. They can only emulate us. The regime in Uganda has made it a habit to arrest me and restrict my movements. And because that is the way it is, we have encouraged you and do what they must do, even when I'm incarcerated, even when I'm blocked. The people of Uganda are many. We are 45 million Ugandans. And if they all embrace the rights that they have given by God and guaranteed by the Constitution, we believe even when I am under incarceration, the people of Uganda can carry out these activities.
Bobi, what would you like the Commonwealth to do? Is there anything the Commonwealth could usefully do to become involved?
Most definitely. The Commonwealth, first of all, can give us their attention. It has always been our plea to the world, to the outside world, not to turn their attention away from Uganda. Because when the world, when we have the attention of the world, that means that there will be limitation of atrocities, especially the unveiling of violence on the innocent citizens of Uganda. So we continue to request for their attention, but not only that, the world is all together. We are united by the values that we share as humanity, as the Commonwealth. So we continue to call upon all Commonwealth countries to call General Museveni to order, because we are all, members of the global community. There's much more the international community can do. For example, targeted sanctions against human rights abusers. If those sanctions are imposed on those that use or rather misuse the guns to oppress the people and abuse their rights, then they will know that they are in check and they will know that they are accountable. Otherwise, the way things are going in Uganda today, those that have the guns feel that they are completely above national and international law.
Are you saying then you think sanctions from the outside world would be a good thing, would be a way of putting pressure on?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. We know that Uganda is a country that, for example, depends mainly on the outside world. So if it is isolated, if those that perpetuate human rights abuses are sanctioned, we strongly believe it will call them to order. Museveni needs only to be called to order. Also, it would be good, for example, if Uganda was suspended from the Commonwealth. We know that that would communicate strongly to the world. Remember, Museveni ensured that he does not invite foreign observers to this election. The United States observers were not invited, the European Union observers were not invited, and even the Commonwealth election observers were not invited, because he knew that he was going to carry out all manner of irregularities that are not accepted in the Commonwealth.
You are saying then, to be absolutely specific, you think Uganda should be suspended from the Commonwealth?
I don't only think, I believe Uganda should be suspended from the Commonwealth. If that's not done, then the Commonwealth will be...
My love, did you attend the call?
Bobi, let me ask you about your hopes for the future. I mean, do you think there is a reasonable prospect that will succeed in overturning the election results?
Did you attend the call, the Bobi Wine thing?
Come again, please.
Bobi, sorry, I think we got some interference there. I'm just asking, do you have any realistic hopes now of being able to overturn the election result?
In Uganda, there's no realistic hope, because General Museveni controls all institutions, including the courts of law. General Museveni has a firm grip on the judiciary, and that explains the illegal and immoral and contradictory behavior of the justices of the Supreme Court. While the petition is on the table of the judiciary has actually met General Museveni 3 times, and it's also said that they've even met him more times in private. So there, we don't see any realistic hope from the judiciary. However, we know that the international community can assert pressure, and we know that the population can also assert pressure on General Museveni, and their will be respected.
Just to be absolutely clear, many people from the outside, Bobi, will have looked at this and said, well, it may not have been a perfect election, but it wasn't necessarily a wholly fraudulent one. What would you say?
I would say those that don't say it's completely fraudulent did not observe it well. This is an election where I had to carry out my campaign wearing a bulletproof jacket and a ballistic helmet. This is an election in which only in 2 days more than 100 unarmed innocent civilians were massacred by the police and the military. This is an election where the military and the police took over the campaign. The Electoral Commission was not in charge. But even on the day of the election, an entire region did not vote because the military took over, and there was a lot of ballot stuffing covered on camera and carried out by the military and the police. So in every decent opinion, this was a very fraudulent election.
Let me bring, if it's okay with you, Bobby, we have a number of participants in this discussion. Perhaps some of them would like to ask you a question. Let me ask Ronald, would you like to ask Bobby something?
Thank you. Mr. Chagulanyi, thanks very much for all your efforts to democratize our country. My question would be, what would you like the diaspora to do to help in this next steps campaign?
Okay, Bobby, what should the diaspora do?
Thank you very much. The diaspora, first of all, allow me to thank them before I even ask for more. The diaspora has largely sponsored our campaign and kept the proceedings in Uganda in the face of the world, even when the internet was completely shut down during the election. The diaspora can further still exert pressure, especially those that are living in the countries that are supporting Uganda, the United States, those in the European Union, and wherever the Ugandans are. They can protest, first of all, on at the offices that are relevant to Uganda internationally, but also can hold their governments to account. In the United Kingdom, which is so close to Uganda, they can put the leaders there to account and encourage them, in fact, and demand that they hold Uganda to the same values that they have, that they are governed with. We have shared values, but there's no sense in Uganda being governed as a dictatorship while we are in collaboration with democracies. Democracy should not tolerate dictatorship in any way.
Okay, let me bring in Simon, who's been sending messages about sanctions. Simon, would you like to ask Bobi Wine something? Simon, can you unmute?
Yes, Honorable Bobi Wine, thank you so much for the effort you are doing. I am Simon Okrut. I think by my name you can guess where I come from in Uganda. I am based in Canada, so I'm right now participating from Canada. You have withdrawn the petition from the Supreme Court, which in my opinion was a wise decision because I've been following how you couldn't be allowed to put in evidence and the interaction of the Chief Justice with the accused. So that was a wise decision. Now you are appealing the public to participate. What preparation have you made? Because you know how the government responds to any kind of protest, be it peaceful or not. So what preparation have you made?
Okay, Bobby, were you able to hear that? What preparation have you made for asking people to continue civil disobedience? What are you doing? Bobby, you still with us?
He's muted.
Bobby, are you muted?
Yeah.
Unmute.
I'm mute. Thank you. Oh my.
So Bobby, were you able to hear that question?
Yes, I was able to hear the question, and I'll respond to it, please. I'm saying, unfortunately, I may not be at liberty to speak publicly about any preparations, well knowing that we live under a military dictatorship, that as soon as the regime knows of any plans or any arrangements, they will move very fast to thwart it. So just to let you know, to let the world know that we are making arrangements with everybody, but most importantly, communicating it, knowing that many of us might be arrested, many of us might be put in jail, but we want Ugandans to know that not all of us can be arrested or eliminated.
Okay. Let me bring in Philip Murphy from the Commonwealth Institute. Philip, do you have a question for Bobi? Philip, can you unmute?
Yeah. Hi, Bobi. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really great to see you.
Thank you.
I mean, short of expelling Uganda from the Commonwealth, what can the current Commonwealth Secretary General do? What should she be saying to Museveni at the moment, in your view?
Come again, please ask the question again.
Let me, Bobi, what Philip was saying was, what do you think the Commonwealth Secretary General is doing right now in terms of Uganda? What should she do?
We think the head of the Commonwealth should join the world in demanding for an audit into the recently concluded January 14th election in Uganda. General Museveni should know that he does not just break laws with reckless abandon and get away with it. So we would be glad if the Commonwealth demanded for an audit into that election, and to also demand for an investigation into the human rights abuses and the murders and the abductions that have happened and continue to happen to the present hour.
Let me bring Mark in. Mark, do you have a question for Bobi Wine? Do you want to unmute, Mark?
Yes. Bobi, I've been an election observer in 2 Ugandan elections, and it seemed the Commonwealth reports made some good recommendations about future conduct of elections, which it seems to me have always been ignored. Do you think that the Commonwealth should take a stronger stance in terms of arguing that the recommendations of its observer groups should be not just taken note of, but implemented?
Bobi, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did not hear the last bit of it.
Essentially, it was whether you get the recommendations of observers, election observers. Do you think the Commonwealth should push for those recommendations to be implemented? Should they have more teeth, in a way?
Yes.
Thank you. It would make a whole lot of sense if the Commonwealth demanded that the recommendations that were proposed are implemented. I must remind the world that even the Supreme Court of Uganda, in the previous election, presidential election petition, proposed recommendation, made some recommendations, and instructed that they are implemented before the next general elections. Unfortunately, the parliament did not implement those reforms, and we went into yet another election short of those recommendations, and that even made it worse this time around. So I believe that much as the Ugandan parliament might not be powerful enough to insist on the recommendations that they make, but I believe that the Commonwealth is powerful enough to insist that those recommendations are implemented. Like I said, Uganda can also be suspended from the Commonwealth. That alone would remind the powers that be in Uganda that they ought to adhere to the same values.
I was on the group that made those recommendations, and by the way, congratulations to the way you have fought your campaign. It's been a lesson to many countries around the Commonwealth.
Mark, thanks for that. Bobi, can I give you a question we've had in on text? George from Bahrain was saying, we're concerned about the brain drain. He's a law graduate, failed to get a job, so I didn't know anyone in government. I mean, those kind of frustrations are a big problem for Uganda, aren't they? Did you hear that, Bobi?
Yes, I heard you. indeed, brain drain is a big challenge, but one would not very easily blame the people, especially the young men and women, the young professionals, the great talents that we lose on daily. We lose medical doctors in their hundreds, young lawyers in their hundreds, engineers, and or even artists and sports people. These people, especially the young professionals, really feel that they are stuck in a world that does not offer the opportunities that they so deserve. So we lose them. We know that we can only cure that if we improve the circumstances back home, if we improve the conditions, if we make it worth their while.
All right. Bobby, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your time, and I know a very difficult time for you, so we really appreciate you being here and being able to talk to us. Can I personally wish you the very best of luck, and please stay safe.
Thank you very much. Stay safe too.
Good to talk to you, sir. Thank you. Bobi Wine there.